Weirding Way Media.
Hello, Twisted Humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting? Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia. And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Did you know that eggs may or may not be good for your eyesight? That is my fun fact for today.
I feel like vegans would be blind.
No, not necessarily. Well, I don't know. We were talking about how your parents used to lie to you in order to make you eat certain things. And it wasn't necessarily a lie. It was just like an over-exaggerated version of the truth. Like, yes, carrots have vitamins in them that contribute to your eyesight per se, but if you don't eat carrots, you're not going to be blind, right?
I don't know. Do you know anyone who's never eaten a carrot?
No. I know somebody that used to eat their carrots with ketchup, which is fucking weird.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either. I had to watch them do it when I was in elementary school. Watch that person be listening now and be like, shit, that was me.
That's disgusting.
It's so gross.
You should be ashamed if you're listening.
Definitely. But also thank you for listening. But this is episode 103, guys. You know, we're out of the serial killer woods and we are into our categories. And today I have an unsolved episode for you guys that came into the mix last minute in true Alecia and Sierra fashion, but it was one that I felt was important to cover, especially given recent discoveries in my world. So yeah, we will get to that shortly. But first, Sierra, do you have a fun fact for me?
I do. My fun fact today is that if you drop a raisin into a glass of a carbonated drink, it will float up and down from the bottom to the top continually over and over again. Because the gases are less dense than the raisin, but when it gets to the bottom and bubbles start to form on it, it makes it more dense, so it lifts up and floats to the top. But when it gets to the top, the bubbles pop, so then it sinks back down.
So it's just a vicious cycle.
Forever. And I am going to attempt this because it sounds fun.
You're going to watch it go up and down like 4 times.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, that was good. Tell me, Sierra, what is your definition of fun when it comes to raisins?
I love science experiments, okay?
I do too.
They're the best.
Speaking of eggs, the one where you can like smush an egg through the top of a
bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That never made sense to me either. The volcano one with vinegar and baking soda was the only one that was ever clear to me as to why. I'm like,
Yeah. Or
everything
Mentos
else.
in soda.
Oh, yeah. That's just a mess that no one wants to clean up, though. Like, in hindsight, watching it is fun, but cleaning it up afterwards, is it worth the fact that
That's why you do it
everything
outside.
is sticky forever? That's how you get ants, Sierra.
Do it outside.
That's how you get ants.
Ants live outside either way.
But they're going to congregate closer to your house if
Oh
you
my gosh.
explode soda outside of it. Well, I love you guys. Do what you
Your
will
fun
with your
fact?
soda. My fun fact, as we are recording this, it is International Women's Day.
It's also holly.
That is true, but why? Why did you just throw me
I'm
off?
sorry. International Women's Day.
No, I was gonna say, well, International Women's Day pertains more to us than Holly does, but then I was like, last year, this time we talked about how cool the tradition was, so never mind.
My kids asked me if we can celebrate Holly, and I was like, that
Why
would be
not?
super awesome, but it's really last minute, so maybe this weekend? They asked me this morning.
They just want to throw colorful shit around. Let's
Yeah,
face
of
it.
course.
They didn't like what we looked it up last year. It's like the beginnings of spring and like
Right.
colors of life coming into the mix, which is why
Yeah.
we thought it was so cool. Or you can just throw colorful glitter at your family. One of the two. Not glitter, because there's a shortage on glitter, but
Yeah, not glitter. Powder.
never glitter. But
Instead of coloring eggs, we're coloring each other.
that's fun. I want to play. It's too cold here to do that. But it is not too cold for International Women's Day. It first took place on March 19th, 1911 in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. And it emerged from the activities of labor movement in North America and Europe and reflected a growing call for women's equal participation in society.
Love it. Happy International Women's Day to everybody.
Yes, I know it's not the day that we are releasing this, but it is the day that we are recording this. So, and as I record this with one of my favorite women, it felt important.
Oh, thanks. Do you know how to spell segue? You said it was too cold. It was not too cold for International Women's Day, and I was going to say nice segue as like a joke. But then I thought about, do you know how to spell segue? I have never seen it written down before until I just finished another book and I saw it in that book and I was like, that's segue? Yeah, there is a U in it.
Is it Seguay?
It's Seguue.
Why?
It's literally
But I was close. That's amazing.
And I feel like I've heard people jokingly say Segu before.
Yeah, because
now I understand why.
That's how it's spelled. People learn how to spell things phonetically.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's spelled Segu.
That's fun. That's like me with receipt.
Oh gosh. I don't want to talk about receipt or restaurant.
I always go reciprocate.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have to say restaurant. Because I cannot fucking spell that word.
Tell us something that you need to spell phonetically, guys. Just for fun, because why not? Mine was always receipt, and then it reminds me of when Dory from Finding Nemo goes escape. Funny, it kind of looks like the word escape because I say it the same way in my head. And then that's where my brain goes for the rest.
Yes.
Did you ever do that in elementary school? I want to do it for an upcoming Bitch and Wine, so don't do it. I'm going to do it to you as a homework assignment that we're going to talk about afterwards because it's fun. But did you ever play those like explosion in your game brains in elementary school or like high school when you were slacking off, where you would write like one word in a bubble and then like what that word makes you think of and like branch
that was a game for you?
Yeah.
That was our writing assignment in like 3rd grade. For us to write a story, we had to write a word in the middle and then just branch off and like
story
with those
idea.
Words make
that teacher
a story.
Deserves 10 out of 10. No, we used to do that just for shits and giggles because case in point, the entire beginning of this episode is how our brain branches out and is weird and makes no sense. So we used to do that on like our free blocks in high school just for shits and giggles in like the 8th grade. But I was like, did you ever do that? And like, have you done it since? Because it's a scary place to revisit in your life.
I feel like my brain works faster than my hands would write. Like, I need a professional typist to be writing these things down as I say them because it'll just
I'm going to make you do it for Bitch and Wine one day because that's just fun. And I'm curious. We're going to start with the same word and we're going to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Guys, if you feel inclined to join our Patreon, that's some of the shit we do on Bitch and Wine.
Speaking of Bitch and Wine, we drink a lot of wine there too.
Wine. Exactly. Today we are on a red and we are drinking the 7 Moons red blend. I am obsessed with the bottle.
It is so cute.
How often going up there
is the number 7 used in wine? Because it's a lot. No, it's a lot.
Oh yeah, because like 7 deadly sins. There's like a bunch of them. Yeah.
7. There's one called 7 sisters. There's one called 7 daughters.
I answered way too fast. I shouldn't have done that. Didn't we do a 7 sisters?
I think we did 7 daughters because that's my favorant white.
And then we talked about
there's 7 sisters also.
Yes,
yeah. There's so many 7s in wine.
Interesting analysis. I love it. This is truly a red blend from California. It is made from Shiraz, Merlot, Cab Sauv, Zinfandel, and Petit Syrah, Grenache, and Malbec. So it is a true blend. It is 13.5%. It is an aromatic red wine that celebrates the phases of the moon by combining harmonious blend of grape varietals into a smooth, balanced, fruity wine with superb color, depth, complexity. It's a Chilean wine from the Californian region, and it features 7 bold and enticing flavors: dark berry, cherry, raspberry, mocha, baking spice, vanilla bean, and coffee. It's full bodied and delicious with a broad range of foods like barbecue chicken, Capri salad, or Chinese food. Enjoy this glass of wine on its own, or simply uncork the bottle of Seven Moons, pour a glass, and find a connection in the moonlight.
Adorable.
Sorry, I had to read the whole thing. I normally don't talk about food, but it made me laugh. Yeah, because why not have it when you're on your own and recording? Why not? I love
Why
that it
not?
actually incorporates 7 flavors and 7 different grape varietals. So
Yeah,
I kind of
it's
thought that was
awesome.
fun. It was fancy.
It is really good. I love the flavor of it. It has, I'm gonna get this wrong, spicy legs. Does that make sense? After you drink it, and it's
No, it doesn't, but I
down your
love it.
throat, there's still a little linger of spicy.
Okay. Okay.
Spicy
Okay.
legs, right?
No, legs are referring to like the thickness
Oh,
in a
the
glass
drippage.
and
Okay,
like
it doesn't have
the
legs.
visible alcohol content.
No legs.
No legs. There's no legs on this one.
What's
but
the aftertaste?
notes.
There's a word for the notes.
Yeah.
Okay, it has lingering spicy notes.
There you go. But no, I like spicy legs. I didn't want to. I'm probably going to edit out your correction because I like it more though.
It has lingering spicy notes,
If it
which
made sense
I
for this
do not
episode,
like.
I'd call it spicy legs. You don't like the lingering
I
spicy.
do not like the lingering spicy legs or whatever.
Yeah.
But
More of a
other than
jammy
that, I
red girl.
love
So,
I
I'm
love
with you.
the taste of it in my mouth. As soon as I swallow it, not so into it anymore.
Not
But
so
it
into
just
the
makes me
spicy
want
legs.
to put more in my mouth. You know what I mean?
It's dangerous, and
Yeah.
at 13.5%, man. I really like it. I'm giving it a 9.5 simply for the bottle and the creativity of the labels, and I just kind of like it. So I'm
Yeah,
giving it a 9.5.
I think I'm gonna give it an 8, just because after I swallow it, I don't like it anymore. But I'm telling you, when it's in your mouth, like put it in your mouth and move your tongue around a little, you can taste the
But
flavors.
I think it would
It's
be
so
really good with food for that reason.
Did you read the cork?
No, is there fun things on the cork?
I don't know if they're all different, but mine says, "Open your eyes. It's time to make your dream a reality."
That's so cute. It's like this. It's like the 19 Crimes.
Yeah.
I love a fun wine cork. I have a bowl of wine corks behind my ghost pants. That's what holds him up. We are going to hear a quick promo from A Million Other Choices, and we will be right back. So, welcome back. So, I'm going to go into this episode saying full disclosure, it is a lot different than the usual flow of episode because there's X amount of information, and a lot of it is a victim story / interview as part of it. So I am covering the cold case of Stephanie Wasilishin. And this is a cold case that is nearly 30 years old.
Wow.
Or actually, it is 30 years old this year. And it's truly heartbreaking for several reasons. One, because of the story itself and how often people are affected by domestic abuse, but also how many people don't get the support or opportunity to escape these situations, and how often it goes unnoticed and unpunished for the people that are the attackers in the domestic abuse situation. It also really got to me because I came across the videos of a direct family member, Stephanie's daughter Nicole, or Nikki as she prefers, who has been nonstop fighting to get justice for her mother, and with the Sedona Police Department in Arizona. I also got the opportunity to speak with and interview Nicole prior to recording this episode. So, very unique all around because we don't always get that opportunity. And while we always try and make our episodes victim focused, it was really eye-opening to me how many people are affected outside of the, the direct victims, and how it really does affect their lives forever. So I have a lot of nice things to say about Nicole. But first, I am going to tell you the story and evidence as it stands now. So, like I said, 30 years has passed almost since Stephanie, a mother of two, was murdered. Despite the evidence as it stands, only two people know what happened on the evening of July 9th, 1993. And obviously, Stephanie is not here to tell her side of the story. According to my interview with Nicole, she was incredibly affected by the news that her mother was murdered, and rightfully so. And I will say, with everything that I've learned about Nicole and her story, that she is incredibly strong and brave. She fell into drugs and alcohol and did everything she could to not think about the death of her mom. During this time, her aunt and Stephanie's younger sister, Wendy, began the investigation into her sister's death after the case came to a standstill. Nicole has since gotten sober and joined the fight with her aunt and then some. She posts on TikTok every day. She has had Fox News look into this and is on the wait list with Sarah Turney to have the story covered. The Momsies podcast also covered the story since. Now we are covering it, as well as our friends over at the Crime Diner. So be sure to check out their episodes as well. In 1993, Stephanie lived in Sedona, Arizona, in a 2-bedroom home with her boyfriend of 6 years, Russell Peterson, and 2 children. She worked as a pastry chef and was a loving and devoted mom. Her daughters were 3-year-old Kate and 10-year-old Nikki.
Never dated Peterson.
During my interview with Nikki, I wanted to get the best understanding of who Stephanie was and how she would be remembered, because there is so little information about her online. So I got it from the person that would arguably know her the best.
My mom had me very young. I think she was either 19 or 20. So she was the fucking cool mom. And not only was my mom super cool, but she was gorgeous. You've seen pictures of her.
Yes, she was beautiful.
I had
you and your mom look a lot alike. I was going to say that as well.
Thank you. I had the most gorgeous mom out of all my friends. Everybody loved my mom. And she was super cool. And she let me listen to Michael Jackson. And she was just super young and hip. And I just remember everybody wanted my mom as their mom. They wanted slumber parties at my house. And she was totally into dolling me up and doing my hair and going and doing those photo shoots. And that was all my mom and my aunt. Girly. We were very girly. And I was always, if you didn't go big with my mom and my aunt, there was no reason to leave the house at all. That was just how you lived life with them. It was go party, go fun. I remember the quote, and I have an autobiography, a memoir started. I'm writing all about this, a book. And the name of it, I originally titled it Green, because one of the only quotes I remember as a child, I will always remember this, is a great memory. One of her friends, I couldn't have been more than 6. My sister wasn't even born yet. And we were at an apartment complex, swimming in a pool, just bumming with one of her high schooler friends, 20-year-old friends. And I remember them asking her, "Stacy, what's your favorite color?" And she goes, smoking or whatever. She's like, "Green. It's the color of weed and money." And I'll never forget that. My mom was so epic. Yes. And so I entitled the book Green, because that's just the way my mom was. And she had the most gorgeous hazel eyes. And she loved to cook. And I remember she loved to be a pastry chef. And she was always making cakes and stuff. But always simple. She would make chocolate chip cookies or whatever. And we would get to lick the beaters. So there will never go a day if I don't use my mixers and I pull the beaters out, even if I'm mixing fucking eggs. Whenever I touch a beater and I'm cooking with them, I think of my mom. It's one of the best memories I have. She used to encourage me to read. She'd always buy me the newest R.L. Stine. I know I was way older than you, but you remember R.L. Stine, Fear Street, Goosebumps,
Yeah.
Christopher Pike, stuff a little teeny bopper would read. She'd always get me the newest ones because she'd encourage me to read. She wanted me to learn. She wanted me to learn responsibility. She got me a dog, and we had a dog when she was murdered. That dog I had until I moved out of my dad's house. So that dog wasn't around very long before she was murdered. But she got me a dog, and I never walked that dog. And I would always get in trouble because the dog would pee in the house. She never got rid of the dog. She'd always threatened to get rid of that damn dog, and she never did.
So that is Stephanie. On July 9th, 1993, Nikki hugged and kissed her mother goodnight on the living room couch at around 11 p.m. Not long after this, Russell returned home from work. They shared a bottle of wine. The two discussed a phone call that Stephanie had had with her ex and Nikki's dad. This is normal, they shared a child together, but things became tense. To add to this, the conversation around finances came up and Russell's upcoming trip to New York City to go to culinary training for 2 weeks. This obviously didn't help the tension in the air. According to Russell, during their spat, Stephanie got up, walked to the bedroom, grabbed the revolver that Russell kept, cocked it, and threatened to shoot him. He said that he tried to reason with her, that things had gotten out of hand. She pulled the trigger, missed. The two struggled over the gun, it went off, and Stephanie fell to the floor. 30 minutes after the altercation, Russell called 911, stating that there had been a very bad accident. And I am going to play the clip for you.
911, what's your emergency?
I need help.
What kind of help, sir?
There has been a very bad accident. Me and my wife, we were in an argument, and she's hurt. She's hurt very bad. I need help.
Okay, what's wrong with her?
She's been shot.
She was shot?
Yes.
Who shot her?
We were... I don't know.
You don't know who shot her?
She might have shot herself.
Mr. Peterson, where is she shot? For me?
It looks like she's been shot in the neck or the chest.
Stephanie was laying on the floor, lifeless. But what's interesting about this whole scenario is that there was a 1-minute phone call 4 minutes prior to Russell calling 911. The gun was this might mean something to you, it means nothing to me, but it's important. Evidence-wise, was a Ruger Red Hawk 44 Magnum revolver.
Okay.
Another thing that's interesting to note is that Stephanie had never touched that gun before or had fired a gun to anyone's knowledge. So why she would go for it initially is also weird. The two were really close together when the gun went off, and it happened so fast. He said that he didn't know which one of them fired the gun. He tried to figure out what to do with the gun, called 911. All he did before calling 911 that he said was that he put it away back in its holster, worried about being accused of murder, but then he thought that was stupid and that it was obviously going to be clear that it was a gun that was in the house that had gone off. He pulled it out and set it on the floor and then called 911.
My first impression is he's trying to figure out what to say. And I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing or if because he actually doesn't know. That's the problem. Clearly, He doesn't know what to say. But again, does he not know what to say because he needs to say a lie? Or does he not know what to say because he really doesn't know what just happened?
Yeah.
Either way, it's super sketchy that she had gunpowder residue on her left hand. And in my opinion, just based on that alone, and the fact that there was a shot in the wall and that she had never shot the gun, I would suspect that he shot her. She was in a defensive stance because she was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then after he shot her, in that 30 minutes it took to call 911, he put the gun in her left hand and shot the wall so that she would have gun residue on her hand.
Interesting. That alone, like defensive position and the wrong dominant hand having gunpowder residue, points to something in the realm of foul play to me. And the fact that, like, yes, I understand that there's a limited amount of evidence. You know, you have a sleeping child and a 3-year-old in the house that can't be witness to what occurred here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that just having one person's side of the story is a reason for an investigation to come to a standstill.
Right. I will
it's
say
wild
that
to me.
I will say that it does sound like not that it doesn't sound like the police did everything they could, but it does sound like the police are going to have problems with this because it's a really good cover-up. It's a really good lie. If it's a lie, you can't prove or disprove it. But at the same time, even in accidents where people are accidentally shot, you still get charged with involuntary manslaughter. I mean, when people are driving down the road and they accidentally hit somebody and they die, it's an accident, but they still go to jail.
Yeah.
So why isn't he in
another
jail?
part of this is weird to me. Russell described their relationship as being, quote, good and semi-bad relationship as far as relationships go. What does that even mean? Medical examiners ruled the death a homicide, and the primary reason behind this is that Stephanie was right-hand dominant. So if she had fired the gun at Russell on purpose, one would think that her dominant hand would have gunpowder residue. She also would have assumingly used that hand if she tried to kill herself, which is how it was later ruled.
Did her right hand not have gunpowder residue?
Her right hand did not have any gunpowder residue, but her left hand did. Russell Peterson has been contacted many times. Fox News has even reached out to him with no response following the police interviews. There was a reenactment done with a woman of similar build to Stephanie, and there was a lot of difficulty firing the gun with one hand, but they were able to fire the gun with one hand during the struggle. The medical examiner also found that Stephanie was in a defensive posture when she was shot. The medical examiner stated that one bullet entered through the left side of her neck. When asked whether or not he shot her after following her to the bedroom, Russell said, quote, "No, I won't say I shot her, and I won't say she shot herself." He also said that he had never put her hands on her. On more than 50 occasions, Stephanie's mom was quoted as saying that Stephanie had told her about Russell being abusive towards her both physically and emotionally. Wendy, her younger sister, said that she was planning on leaving him not long before this altercation occurred, and that the plan was for her and her daughters to stay at their mom's house. Detectives that were interviewing Russell called him out on his lack of cooperation. He consented to a search of their house, but there wasn't enough evidence to bring it to a grand jury. There's also a lack of proof at the house after the search, and it's basically his word against hers, and she's not here to say her side of the story. His story has also been inconsistent throughout retellings, which some people point to being possible trauma of losing his partner that evening, or wishful thinking, wishing that things had turned out differently. But we also see in many true crime cases that points to them lying.
Yeah. It's easy to tell the truth over and over again.
Yeah. Investigative reports had stated that he was both a suspect and an investigative lead. However, the official title has never been clarified. And investigators also said that short of a confession from Russell, there's no way that they can move further in the story. In addition to all of this, since the case has been resurfacing over the last few years, Nikki's sister Kate has been missing and out of touch with both of them. So during my interview with Nikki, she does address Kate directly.
My younger sister, she is his daughter. And yeah, my younger sister, the fighting woke her up. So she is witness to this crime. The Sedona Police Department have been looking for her. If your podcast gets out there, my sister is missing. She's will be located in the greater Phoenix area somewhere. It's been almost 3 years since I've heard from her. 2 years since the Sedona Police Department have heard from her. She is an active, like, we need to talk to her. Her sister wants to say sorry.
Yeah.
Kay, if you're listening, Kay, I'm really sorry about a lot of the last couple of years, dudes. Shit's going on with mom's case. Just please call me. Please call me. I can't find my sister. The Sedona Police Department's telling me to file a welfare check down here in Phoenix. So now the Sedona Police Department's already looking for her. So now I got to get two. She'll hate me if I get another police department looking for her.
Do you have any reason?
I can't find her.
to believe that she's in any danger, or
Mm.
is this just at her own fruition?
She's 33 and she can disappear if she wants to.
Mhm.
I mean, she was in communication with them originally. I have emails of her talking to the Sonoma Police Department, but they just fall off February of 2021. So we're past 2 years now. We don't know where she is. Like, I'm on the verge of filing like a missing person, like welfare check, but I wanted to do like podcasts and do my TikTok stuff before I get another police department down on her.
Yeah.
Like, we just,
I'm
we
hoping that
didn't,
you two are able to get into contact with each other.
I need to say sorry for a lot of things. We did not end very well. And I want to say sorry for a lot of things.
Oh,
Just leave it at that.
yeah. Well, this kind of stress in a family and pain, you know, people react different ways to grief, and especially when you're fighting a fight that you shouldn't have to be fighting on top of it. So, you know, I'm sure that she's feeling the same pain you are. So I do hope that you are able to contact her.
Me too. We kind of need her.
But that is all of the evidence as it stands now.
Wow.
Like I said, every day, Nicole posts on her TikTok, and she's had Fox News reach out to him with no response. She's doing everything that she can to keep this case alive.
Is he still alive?
Yep, he's still walking free. He
Someone
is
needs to
actually
go
being
confront him in
very,
person.
very quiet about all of this.
I
He just
bet.
wants everybody to forget about it. Evidence to me, and you know, the story that we've heard several times before in the true crime world. Yes, this could very well have been an accident, but somebody still died over it. So more truth needs to be told, in my opinion. And I'm incredibly frustrated for this family that, you know, 30 years has gone by and no arrests or charges have ever been pressed. During my conversation with Nikki, she gave me a little bit of information that makes me think that there might be a little bit of, you know, something corrupt going on. Perhaps money had changed hands. Perhaps somebody was paid off to point to insufficient evidence. But in either case, you know, a young mom was killed and two girls grew up without a mom. So it's heartbreaking all around. And we see it far too often. So for all of those reasons, I really wanted to shed light on the story. And squeaky wheel always gets the grease. You can only ignore it for so long. So that is the story of Stephanie. You know, I talked about it with Nikki. If Russell were to come forward after all of these years, and if he were to like talk to the police further or admit to something or have some sort of revelation as to what happened that night, would you guys be satisfied with manslaughter or second degree murder? And she's like, yes, I just want some sort of
Justice
for my mom. And she said the fact that, you know, media and the police now are starting to shift the case towards, you know, a hysterical mother and suicide is insulting to her, because and it would be insulting to anybody that kind of thing is accused of. And again, we see it all the time. Just because somebody's in an abusive relationship doesn't mean that they want to kill themselves. There would just be no reason for it. Like, I know that we say that for people that do complete suicide, but you know, she had two young kids that she lived for. She was happy, you know, she was planning on starting a new life with her and her kids. And we also see that as well, is people that try and get out of abusive situations don't make it out.
I don't even understand how they could try and say it was suicide, especially after he admitted that they were in a fight.
Yeah.
Like, what? How could it be suicide? And
Yeah.
who shoots themselves in the neck? Grazes their neck for suicide.
Yeah.
It's not suicide, clearly. It's either an accident or a murder.
Yeah.
Either way, the living person should be in jail for the amount of time that is
that was played
necessary.
in that. Yeah. It's all very, very frustrating. My heart goes out to this family that's, you know, been fighting a solo fight for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, we see it a lot, but it's different when you know, directly get to talk to these people. So it was definitely a humbling experience, and definitely something that I want to see justice for, just as much as any other case we've covered, but especially so for these, beautiful women that are fighting this battle every day and not enjoying their lives until, something is done. It's not right. That's not how our justice system should be. There should be more resources for people that are dealing with domestic abuse to get out safely.
Well, I'm glad we covered this.
I am too. I'm really glad I got the opportunity to interview Nikki for this episode. Thank you again. I know she's going to be listening, for sitting down with me. I can't imagine that reliving that pain over and over again is easy or gets any easier, but know that you are so incredibly strong and we are fighting this fight with you for any kind of justice. So, but we love you guys lots. Thank you so much for listening. And again, go show her some love and some support. And stay tuned for Sarah Turney to bust this case wide open.
Before we go, I have a happy bit
Yes.
to share with you. Something
gives
to
me
lighten
hope?
the mood. Well, sort of. As I said, gives me hope is not a thing anymore. So
Should be.
I know. Anyway, so what I did find was a little laughable moment. This is a review, actually. It's a 5-star review of a 175... Actually, it doesn't say how many. I know there's at least 175 pack of teeny tiny plastic naked babies. I'm sure you've seen them at baby shower parties and whatnot.
Yes.
So the review is 5 stars. It says, yes. That's the title. The review says, I bought these so I could hide them everywhere for my fiancé to find. At first, he thought it was a charming new bit of mine. He thought I only had 1 or 2 of these tiny plastic babies. He thought wrong. Hearing his deep, exhausted sigh, followed by, oh my God, because he has found baby number 175, has brought me more joy than I could ever describe. The fear in his eyes when he opens anything, because he is expecting a small plastic baby, has produced more serotonin than you can imagine. He is a broken man. I have destroyed his hope of living a life free of tiny plastic babies. We will be finding these for the next 70 years. I will purchase these again. So,
I thought she was going with the fact that that's how she was going to tell him he was pregnant. No, it's just a fucking prank, and I love it so much more.
it's so harmless. It's so funny. It's a great bit. Everybody go buy plastic babies to hide around your house.
That's hilarious. Kind of want to do
It
that
is.
to Kevin. I heard about
Hope
somebody
we
doing
could-
that to their significant other, and they accidentally swallowed it, and that was a whole other problem. Like they had
Well,
used
don't put it in food.
They put it in martinis at a baby shower.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not good. They are not for your drinking pleasure, people.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much. But oh my
No
God.
toys in your mouth.
Yeah, Mom.
I have to tell my
God.
children that all the time.
But we love you and thank you so much for listening. Friendly reminder, if you like the show, to go leave a 5-star rating and review. It's the best way to spread the word, and we enter you into a draw to win a free month of Patreon, where you get so much more of us.
Also, as you may have noticed, there is a new little bumper before our intro on our podcasts. That is our Weirding Way Media Network bumper. And it's just a little reminder for you to go check out weirdingwaymedia.com and see what all of our friends are doing.
Some other cool shows, and you get to hear Sierra's beautiful voice again. Yes, that is her, guys. The one
That's
and only.
me.
And go check out Sierra's store, So Twisted Boutique. We've plugged it more than usual, but she's making new stuff, guys. It's exciting.
I'm trying.
And we have a new store that will be linked by the time you listen to this episode. So go and check that out too. And we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. And in the meantime,
Keep it
get
twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alecia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.